Welcome to the first Monkey Business affiliated podcast. That's right. We have a podcast now. It's probably called something that's definitely not cringe, like the Monster Cast Space Field Guide, or perhaps Monstrous Musings. But we'll see what's up.
I like that one.
I'm joined with some fantastic veterans of the channel here. We have Mr. Zach, whose last name I will not disclose.
What's cracking?
And Mr. Brandon, whose social insurance number is as follows: 999-66492.
Wow, that'd be a pretty powerful social insurance number.
I think so. So we have a fresh new format for you here today. Make sure to let us know how you feel after you've given this a beautiful, tasty little, succulent little listen. And we're gonna discuss some monsters. Hopefully, this episode's coming out close to Halloween. I think that just fits really well with our with our social canon, if that's something. Now it is. We're gonna talk about some monsters. There's some absolutely impressive designs out there. There's some creatures that have been thought up and been influenced by all sorts of different little chunks and nuggets of pop culture and history and different ways of expressing yourself around the world. So we're gonna jump into that a little bit. With a heavy emphasis on video game characters. So stick with us, and you might hear something a little bit interesting. So now I'm going to share this beautiful PowerPoint. I couldn't do this without the help of myself in the past and the keynote presentation I've created. So
I thought you were going to say you're sponsored by PowerPoint.
Sponsored by PowerPoint? That'd be really good. Hopefully I don't share this with the wrong people. But Brandon, what are you most excited to hear about? What are some deep core memories you have relating to monsters?
There's like the what was that, the little TV show on when we were younger? There was like those cartoon things where it's like there's like a vampire dude and they're like some sort of school, but for monsters or whatever.
Vampire dude.
Yeah, there was like a 3D animation show, and it had like a funny. It sounded like a. It reminded me of Rock Lobster, the intro song, a little bit. It's in 3D. Anyway, so that's one. If somehow you could find that, that'd be pretty hilarious.
Sure you're not talking about the 2D one, which was like the School for Imaginary Friends?
No. Yeah, that I know. But I mean, like this, if they weren't imaginary, it was like a vampire guy, and he was like 3D. That's all I remember from it. There was like a vampire guy, and then I think that was around when like people were talking about Twilight a lot. So I was like, wow, is that the Twilight guy? But,
you're not talking about Hotel Transylvania?
I'm not talking about Hotel Transylvania. That came out much later.
1, 2, 3. I have to bring it up now. I've mentioned it to Zach. The way they changed, and I'm not like an animation children's movie fanatic, but I get like Facebook clips from the different Hotel Transylvanias, and the way the animation style has changed bothers me so much. The eyes got like 35% larger across the 3 movies, and they smoothed all the edges. It looks like everything's airbrushed, and they move all noodly. It's like, oh god. Tell Adam Sandler.
That's what you need nowadays to keep the kids interested. Come on, Andrew.
They like Fortnite.
There's also Beetlejuice.
Yeah.
There's the Addams Family. It's like the hand, like the Frankenstein guys. Like those are monsters.
A little hand that runs around.
Yeah, the hand. They made a new animated movie of the Addams Family. People don't like it, supposedly.
Like the sequel one, like a really really new one.
Yeah, well, it's not a sequel. It's like the Addams Family, but it's like Illumination. Probably, I don't know who animated.
Yeah, I think yeah, that sounds about right. I know what you're talking about. I haven't seen it, but I heard it's
their
kind
foreheads are very large.
Kind of terrible.
Yeah. Are you already dabbing on Illumination, Brandon?
Oh, okay, come on.
What about Zach? I just realized, Zach, what are some of your core memories with monsters? What are when we say monster, what do you think about? What are some of your favorites?
The 2 that stick out to me, they're a bit more movie monsters, but I like the xenomorph, the alien, and the predator.
Oh yeah.
Because I remember I used to draw those a lot. Still kind of do, and I like the way they look.
I think I have Aliens versus Predators on my phone. Like I bought it on like iTunes, or whatever, and it's still on my phone.
And you watch it every day on the bus.
As well as like 2 episodes of Fanboy Chub Chump for whatever reason. Like, that's neither here nor there.
Did you go out? Did you choose specific episodes, or did you just get 2 at random?
Oh, I think it's like they're kind of like, I don't know, it was like decently pricey per thing. I was like, wow, I think. What if I just look at these 2 videos to once, because I don't think I've seen this before on TV. Maybe it'll be funny. and then so maybe that as well is a monster that like the series of events,
the corporate monster.
Yeah, the series of events that led to Fanboy Chum Chum being created as a show is I guess a metaphorical monster. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, wow,
Terrible.
That's wild. There's, like monster. You made me think of Monsters vs. Aliens when you said that, and I was gonna say,
oh yeah,
Alien
I remember
and
that was
Predator
great.
had their little crossover. That's great. But yeah, so I do want to mention, there's a lot out there. From the Chupacabra to Frankenstein to like the Thing from the Black Lagoon and Dracula himself. There's a lot of these classic. We call them monsters. A lot of them are kind of anthropomorphic. Hopefully I'm using that correctly.
Yeah.
I've really pulled out some fancy, lovely little creatures from some series that we've been involved in. Zach and I have played a bit of Monster Hunter. I've gotten into that in the past year, I would say. I've played quite a bit of. I've done all the low rank on Generations. I've played most of Stories 2, I would say, and we're working through Iceborne now. And it's been lots of fun. I've been shocked at how much thought has gone into these creatures and the influences that you can see in their design and the roles they fill. I've heard that it's been a really important thing there. So that's interesting, really. I think video games are a fantastic medium for how you can interact with like, obviously not a real thing. You have this experience with this creature, that has been thought up by a handful of minds.
Are you telling me that the what was the name of that creature? The Congalala is a real thing?
Yeah, absolutely. And he might be featured in a future episode, Brent, so get ready. But I get excited and I talk about some aspects of the design, and then I neglect to acknowledge the fact that some of the monsters in Monster Hunter just fart like a lot,
Or the one with the water that just shoots water out of its tail, and it's really disgusting.
Yeah, and there's another one too that we might have to bring up, the Kezu, and it's been acknowledged to look phallic by characters in the game. It has no eyes. Its hide is referred to as flabby. It's kind of disgusting, not gonna lie, but they're not the feature of this episode. So if you like the format, let us know. Let's dive right into it on the first thing. So, without further ado, let me introduce to you one of my favorite monsters I've met from the Monster Hunter series. And the feature of our first episode here being the Nargacuga. Whoa. Now, what the heck is a Nargacuga? Brandon, you look at this. Look at picture number 1. I'll guide you through this little thing, and I'm going to try to keep. I'm going to try to keep the pictures in line with the YouTube video. So if we're referring to something, hopefully it's the same image we're referencing there. I've saved them all. Brandon, what are your first impressions?
As someone who's never played a Monster Hunter game and has seen like maybe 30 seconds of gameplay of it, this thing looks pretty wild. I enjoy the kind of like blue and red color scheme. That's kind of a default color scheme I used to go to. When I played like Halo and stuff, it used to be like red and blue, but then I slowly started alternating to different colors. But that's neither here nor there. It looks like he has some sort of like a thing on his back. It looks kind of like a saddle, but not really. It has like horns. It's kind of strange. Is that like another creature on it? I don't know. Is that just
I think that ornament? Is a saddle.
Yeah, I took this image directly from the Monster Hunter Stories 2, which is about riders. There's hunters and there's riders, and there's these communities.
That's kind of powerful. Yeah. This thing looks like it would maybe try to fly with like the weird things on its hands, but I don't know if like weight wise and stuff that would really work, and based on like the size of the wings. I don't know the wing physics. I'm not much of a wing physics guy, but yeah, I don't know. It's a very funny feature. Its tail looks a little bit phosphorescent, which like peanut butter. So supposedly if you
wait, excuse me, what?
Yeah, supposedly if you take peanut butter, you go into a dark room and you shine a bright light on it, you can see it glow for like half a second. Yeah. Supposedly peanut butter slightly glows. I don't know. It's wild.
Bro, we have to slather you up in peanut butter and put you in a dark room.
Gosh, that's terrible. But yeah, supposedly that's a thing. And I don't know if phosphorescent is like the catch-all term for every glow-in-the-dark thing, but yeah, peanut butter does glow. That's kind of funny. So maybe this guy and peanut butter share something in common in the fact that they kind of glow. Except I don't think peanut butter glows blue.
Peanut butter's is a distant relative.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, maybe.
This guy consumed so much peanut butter that he started glowing.
That was good. It's I think it's going to be incredible to get this blind view of most of these monsters, and that's incredible insight, Brandon. So Zach, I'm so happy that we got to play and fight this thing yesterday in Iceborne. You know, we got up there,
Yeah.
and so now you know a little bit about how it works and the way it moves. You know, what strikes you about this? What's the most interesting things you can pull out of this Nargacuga? What were your impressions?
I'm gonna look from a design point of view. I like how it kind of shifts between a whole bunch of different motifs. Like it's got like kind of the scaly stuff going on more classically with its arms and its underbelly, and then it has fur on top, and then it has like almost like a beak-like mouth, but also teeth. Like I don't know, the fact that it's all over the place, but at the same time it blends so well together to me is really impressive, and I really like it. And also just the eyes, the kind of the streaks that go back and build into the ears, and in game, if you're okay with me mentioning this already,
Yeah.
when he gets enraged, right, his eyes start to glow and those entire red strips light up, and it makes for a really menacing look.
Yeah, so just hop on to slide 7 there. For not for those of you following along, because I'm not making the PowerPoint widely available. But this is taken, I think, from the intro animation in Rise. And
That's
really
kind of
showcases that
spooky.
well. Yeah. In Stories 2, most of the they call them monsties. I kind of don't like that, but the monsters you ride that are your buddies are called monsties.
Monsties.
Yeah, I don't know why I'm pronouncing it like that. They're
incredible.
monsties. But and what you can do is they all have different abilities, you know. So some of the funny ones can like climb up ivy, some can jump, whatever. And the Nargacuga can like go invisible and like a stealth thing. And when he does, and you like whip around fast enough, his eyes actually leave a trail, which they kind of do in game. Which contrasts with another monster that isn't worth bringing up because we don't know about it right now. That also does the red eye thing, but they don't leave like a glowing trail behind it. So it's kind of one of those like predatory characteristics, I would say. You know, like in that flash of light in the dark.
It's almost like anime-esque, you know, when you get like the streak of light of like something moving fast.
Yeah, I would say that too. For me, I think it's really interesting. The first thing I was like, oh my god, the influence to make this creature, because it snarls and growls like a cougar or something, which I'm gonna assume, you know, like part of its name is coming from there, like a puma or a cougar, like a big.
See, now you gotta put a growl sound here.
Yeah, we'll have to put a growl effect in there. Or Brandon, you want to growl for us?
Nah, I think I'm good.
Brandon's not getting paid enough for that.
Yeah. We interrupt this podcast to present a growl comparison.
First, a puma. Now, a Nargacuga.
Yeah.
So that was insane, and the beak too, because it looks very, very beaked. Out of the monsters I've seen so far in Monster Hunter, I liked how this kind of blended elements of like a mammal or something, but also with kind of like a bird, and then it has these sharp wings, right? Like they're blades. I think some of its weapons are called like the hidden blade or something. It can fly, and in one of the moves it has in Stories 2 is sharpened blades, you know. So I thought that was kind of cool. It's definitely not the first creature to have like sharp elbows ever. I'm pretty sure I've seen that sci-fi in some things.
That's a really popular kind of,
Yeah.
I don't want to say a trope, but like those kind of blades that either jot out from your arms or your elbows or different like joints.
Mm-hmm.
It's a classic.
But I
Classic
like
little move.
Yeah, and I like how it comes together in this. Its beady little eyes, they don't mean much to me, but I do like that you pointed out the fact that it has like a beak, and it also has teeth in its mouth, you know. Feels a little bit overkill almost, but as like this advanced predator that moves around very quickly. It's there. And that too, it's designed in a way that it's fairly aerodynamic, you know, it like stays low on the ground. The fact that it's not all fur feels like there's a little bit less drag, you know, scaly being like slick. And its tail is something really special that we might come back to thereafter. But yeah, what a powerful creature.
That's kind of incredible.
I'd like to go to slide 8 for a second. This is a screenshot from the Iceborne trailer, and I like this one because it kind of shows the influence. It feels like it's often referred to as a bat. Now,
Yeah, you can
Bat
really
bat.
like with the ears. I mean, that's really really bat-like.
So it didn't strike. I always felt that it was more like a mammal, right? Like I said, like to me, I don't know. I'm a guy. I named my Pokemon and I named my Monsties, and I gave this guy like he was Pumar or something, because to me, that's what shouted out.
But Andrew, a bat is a mammal.
Yeah, but it's like bats feel more bird-like. You know what I'm talking about?
Does it?
No, okay. I meant mammal. I meant like a big.
Come on, bats are like borderline reptiles.
Yeah.
Yeah, not gonna lie.
Except they're mammals. They're the only flying mammal.
Is that
the flying squirrel?
That doesn't really fly though. That kind of glides.
How many gliding mammals?
Well, that's kind of like this thing. This thing doesn't. Does it fly at all, or does it just kind of like floats and then jumps back down? It's not really taking flight, does it?
In Generations Ultimate, when it leaves the area, it will go to the middle of the map and it will start flapping its wings and rise. And that's pretty fly powerful. Way overhead, and that looks very goofy. So I don't know if I can find a clip of that, but
because most definitely, I think Brandon mentioned this before. Its wings are definitely not big enough to support its body mass. They very much look like a kind of like a flying squirrel, where it's just a glide around.
Although even then, how efficient would those things even be for gliding? I couldn't tell you.
Very poor.
Yeah, because it's not really like attached to. If it was attached to like his side of his torso or something like that, maybe it'd be a little bit better. But yeah.
So it's classified as a flying wyvern. So it does fly. Should it fly? Probably not. I'm with Zach. When you fight it, it's almost always terrestrial.
Yeah. Exactly. But should bees fly? According to Jerry Seinfeld, no, but they do.
Yeah, exactly.
And also, I think that whole aviation thing, I don't know if that's true. I think
that bees
should be able to fly. Yeah. I don't know. I feel like that's like
I know if a bee is incapable of flying, this thing surely is absolutely not getting off the ground.
Yeah, but luckily bees can fly, so maybe this thing can. Maybe much like the bee, this thing can do whatever it wants.
I think so. When you're that powerful, and this seems to be powerful.
Maybe it's flying from sheer willpower.
Yeah. Maybe it has like a secret, like maybe there's another monster that has a series of pulleys and wires. It's flying up in the sky and then pulling it up whenever he asks for it. Like he just sends the signal. Like he has like one of those that people use for like gambling, like a Morse code tapper. That, like taps your thigh or whatever, bottom of your shoe. He has this in game, and then just the other monster starts flying up. That's how he flies.
That's incredible. That the visuals you've just painted in my mind, Brandon. $1 million.
Yeah.
Brandon, you have to draw that in Microsoft Paint now, so Andrew can put it in the video portion of this.
Oh god. Here, hop on to slide 3, and then we'll go back to 2. I really want to talk about the tail now. One of his most powerful attacks in Stories 2 is like the tail slam or something. And he takes this, what looks to be like a smooth, kind of furry, I don't know, just like innocuous little tail. Definitely less threatening than something like from the other monsters that we've seen in the game. I would say like a Diablos or Glavenus or something. Like this. Yeah. His tail does not look scary when the furry feathers are down. But it puffs up, it spikes out, and it shoots these hard feathers, I think. That's like tail spikes or spears, they call them. And, they cause bleeding, obviously, because they're sharp. And it slaps it. The tail stretches a little bit more than you expect, which is bizarre because it's a furry little thing. And I think the art for it, this kind of, I don't know, someone called it like almost Aztec style. I don't know if that's right. But the little icon kind of shows the spikes of the tails. And then if you go to 2, you can see it does it. It fuzzes out. In a way, it makes me feel like it's kind of metallic almost. Like it reminds me of like a mace coming down a little bit, but it is also used as a projectile, right? What are your thoughts on that? What kind of trauma do you have from the fight, Zach?
Well, here's the thing I didn't expect. I thought that it's only if you get hit by those things, but those little spikes embed themselves in the ground, and then you're just like minding your own business, running around. You like trip on one, then you start bleeding again. So it's like lays a little mini minefield for a little bit. It's very terrifying.
And bleeding is one of the bad blights or status effects from Monster Hunter, because the only way to cure it naturally without sucking back an item is to stand in place, like crouch in place, which is, takes a little bit of more brain power than, perhaps rolling to get rid of the fire.
And especially with this thing, you're crouched in place and all of a sudden it jumps over you and slams you again with the tail. And you would just want to go die.
You just want to chill. What about you, Brandon? What are you thinking about this tailed fellow?
It's, spiky-tailed creatures are powerful. It's like that one dinosaur. I forgot the name of it.
Ankylosaurus?
So Ankylosaurus?
Yeah, it's another Ankylosaurus.
Was that like a pun or something? But, that's, it's kind of like that. It's like, there's also another creature I could think of with a spiky tail is the Uromastyx.
The what?
It's a lizard. Oh,
send a picture.
Uromastyx.
Yeah, send a picture and then little.
You see, I know because I used to have a Uromastyx, and
yeah.
Yeah.
Uromastyx.
So it's like that, except the spikes go along like the whole length of the tail.
This is incredible. I didn't know you had a lizard.
Yeah, I had a lizard and it died. But
I ate him.
That's neither here nor there.
That's a cool lizard.
That's a powerful lizard. Mine was more like on like the brown shade lizard.
Mm-hmm.
Like it wasn't like these like super glowy ones. But yeah, we had a lizard. There's like a photo of it with like a little lizard leash on. It was pretty funny, but that's a long time ago. But so the spikiness of the tail kind of reminded me of that, except it's only spiky at the tip, so it's more like that dinosaur. But spiky-tailed creature is pretty powerful. But it's a great attack mechanism. Although I don't know if you've ever seen two giraffes fighting. That's also a powerful thing.
Whoa, they slap each other with their
heads. Yeah, it's really weird. Like they just smack each other really hard with their heads and like paralyze each other. It's crazy.
Do they fight by kicking, or is that only for other critters that come up to them?
Yeah, that's a good question. The video I saw was just like them smacking each other with their heads a lot and like knocking each other out via that. But
because I remember being told when I was young that like a giraffe kick would like wreck you, like just break all your bones and you'd instantaneously just explode.
Yeah, I can imagine. It's a large creature like that doing a little kick. Crazy.
That's wild. And so one beautiful feature of at least World, I can't say for sure if they had it before, is that several monsters you can sever their tails, Brandon, or at least a part of their tail if you have a sharp object. So I'm normally running around with a hammer, which isn't much help, but it kind of changes the battle because it either weakens their attacks or gets rid of them. And we didn't manage to do it with the Nargacuga, but I'm sure that's a focus, because there's different tail whips, but to be able to, he does his slam, he also shoots his projectiles. It's really, you're right, it is,
most of his big attacks, now that I think of it, uses tail to some degree. Mm-hmm. Like it's either he's whipping it around or he's slamming it down or he's shooting spikes from it.
Yeah. Which brings me a little bit. So he was the flagship monster for Monster Hunter Freedom Unite, which we have the picture here, of the cover, because that's what I want to talk about, the art. But it was on the PSP. It was the second or third game in the series, depending on how you look at it. It's pretty early on. And when I saw this the first couple times, to me, it looked almost like the Nargacuga was hanging by its tail upside down in a forest. I was like, wow, that's metal. And that's not the case. I don't think. Now it looks like he's like crashing through the a bunch of trees, and it looks like he's massive, like really, really, really big. That's what solidified some of the parallels, to being a bat or something, But which goes to say, even though, even without sitting and staring at this image forever, my brain was kind of like, oh, like of course it's kind of bat, like it'll hang by its tail upside down in a cave. You know how it is. So I guess whatever I've said about it not being a bat, subconsciously Andrew does think it's kind of bat-like,
It is a bat.
It is a bat.
You're gonna go smack it with a bat.
Certified batty, yeah.
Come here, Nargacuga, I'm gonna break your face.
And I wanted to jump back into the eyes a little bit. They're really good at telegraphing its level of aggravation, I would say. Not every monster's tell for how angry it is at that time is as blatant, and especially in the older games, not like World, where you don't have a mini map that has like that, they call it the icon, which is funny, the EYE-con, to show you when you can like actually when you can mount it a certain way or whatever. But it's kind of cool, and I'm wondering, You know, what sort of creatures in the what sort of animals have any sort of blood that glows? Like, is that a thing that exists? Like, bioluminescence exists, so surely that could be. And we're assuming it's blood behind the eyes. You know, maybe it's not. This guy could be filled with Jello. I don't know.
I mean, this is not a real life creature, but the predator, as I mentioned before, has blood that glows. You know, to like stab it, and then like his blood gets on the leaves. They're like, oh, if it can bleed, we can kill it.
Nice. Oh, that's a pretty good.
That's a fun fact.
Thing there. Oh, good. Well, so I guess it can exist. You know.
I think there are creatures though with blood that glows. It's just I'm not a what's the word for a creature man?
Biologist.
Biologist.
Zoologist, yeah. Cryptozoologist.
I'm not a cryptozoologist. Do I look like that? So I don't keep track of all the animals. You know, I keep track of the ones I see. I see a dog. I'm like, okay, dog.
You're not a cryptid specialist. Is that what you're telling me?
I'm not a man who specializes in classifying the cryptids.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh. And I like the wings, the webbing, the flesh between them is kind of bizarre. You know, it feels like it looks like, take a step back, go to picture 5 or slide 5, whatever, and just look at the arm on the right without the arm. Just look at the wing. And it looks like a dinosaur's foot with 3 legs and just webbing in between, like a big angry duck's foot. And now that I've seen that, I can't unsee it.
The more I look at it, the more I get annoyed that it can fly.
It
should not be allowed to happen.
He's a pouncy, angry little fella, little critter.
It's like if a duck started flapping only its feet and it just started like rising up.
Yeah. And I really wanted to find an image of it. I don't know if I'll be able to do it justice, but he's been like my lead monstie in stories too. Partly because I find the stealth, the being able to go invisible and kind of sneak past monsters that you don't want to fight, to be almost like overpowered. Because some of those battles take a long, a longer time than they should. It's not a bad battle system, we do some battles, but just to have that control to go by instead of aggravating every small creature that you bump by has been really cool. But his kind of idle animation when he's walking, which is not reflected well in Iceborne, has him almost hunched over with his forelegs kind of up, and he looks very, in that position, it reminds me a lot of some sort of bird or fowl. To me, that's where it gives me the real like bird vibes, and the beak starts to make sense. And that's it. I have to say, again, with my first impressions, it was, look at this beaked flying creature mixed with this like cougar, and it's angry. It's really angry. And I thought that was funny. So do you wanna hear its names? Do you know its secret little titles there?
That is secret names?
Yeah, it's sometimes referred to as the Swift Wyvern because it's
funny.
Gotta go fast. Isn't that right, Brown?
Absolutely.
or alternatively, it's sometimes called the Pouncing Shadow, which I think suits it kind of well. I think they could have played in a little bit more to it being existing in the shadows, and because it never goes invisible, and I have to say, at least in the places it shows up in World, the Ancient Forest is not bad, but the Coral Highlands, I can't imagine it's incredibly like camouflage or anything. That's kind of bright and it's kind of dark. And in Generations Ultimate, where it exists, I fought it at like the I don't know, the ancient I don't even know what I'm saying, the like the Yukumo place, whatever, and that's kind of like a autumn forest type of place with springs and stuff. So but I guess at nighttime it doesn't really matter where you are if it's dark. You know what I'm saying? I mean, maybe that's it. Maybe that's what we forgot to consider. Consider the following.
Darkness.
Yeah, darkness. So it's an incredible creature. I don't think we need to be rating our monsters on this. But how do you feel? Do you think this was worth your time? I am a fan of the Nargacuga, and I think Monster Hunter series is too, because it's come back time and time again. And I'm sure if you looked it up, there's all sorts of plushes and stuff. And like they have.
But you can glue some razor blades to its tail in the plush,
Oh God.
Give it to your nephew.
Yeah, like a box cutter or something. It has come back, but the fact that it made the cut for something like Stories 2, and it was not just like any old, there's kind of like some boss ones. So he was kind of like the end of an area type of thing, which is kind of cool. It was cool to see how it turf warred with some different monsters in World.
I don't think I've seen it turf war. Have we?
It got picked up by a Rathalos, I think, when I fought it, or something, and it kind of like slammed it down on the ground, and it really, that juxtaposition between something that flew and something that really shouldn't, and didn't, was kind of funny. It's like a big cat. It's like a big cuddly cat, I could cuddle up next to a Nargacuga. Confirmed. Any final thoughts on this big baddie, Brent?
So it's this creature, pretty wild. It's reminds me of, like you said, an amalgamation of a bunch of different creatures. It's kind of funny. Looks pretty powerful. I would not want to be going on an evening stroll and then see this thing on the sidewalk. That's my final conclusion.
I think we I don't know if there's an image that properly showcases it, but I guess you can tell by the saddle. But like its size, Bran, right?
Yeah.
It's a fairly large beast, right?
Yeah, that'd take up most of the sidewalk.
I think I mentioned this to Andrew yesterday when we were fighting it. What if you had something like this, but like the size of like a house cat? You think you can manage that?
I probably still wouldn't want to touch it. Like it has like sharp claws. It's like even like a squirrel or something can
How small would it have to be, you think, before you could like get it out of your house if you needed to?
I mean, I guess it doesn't have armor around its neck or something, so you can. Fighting it
strangle it?
For you. Yeah, you could probably do that, or like break its neck or something like that. But like, it'd probably hurt you in the meantime. So it's like, its teeth look sharp and all that. So like, even on like a small creature, sharp teeth like that hurt. So it's a risky endeavor. Maybe if you're wearing like steel toe boots, you could punt it or something like that. But I don't know.
Punt it out your window.
Yeah.
I was gonna bring that up, Zach, and it kind of fits the vibe of people who are like, no, my cat's super friendly, it's fine, and then it like claws your arm. Oh, yeah, wow, what a beast.
Honestly, I feel like this thing cat size would be a lot more dangerous. It could just get into like any place it wanted to. You can hide.
Yeah, then it would really be, it would pounce out of the darkness when you're trying to eat the shredded cheese out of the fridge at 3 a.m. or something.
Or you get stuck in a tree, you need to call the firefighters, but also the army.
Yeah, it would jump down and just, absolutely cut through a firefighter. You split down the middle. Oh, man. What a spooky creature. Well, I think that's going to do us for our pilot episode, season 1 of this, monster podcast. Hopefully, I am feeling, maybe we'll try to go. Hopefully it's not taken, Monster Musings. Something like that. I think it fits the vibe. And if you enjoyed, let us know. If you want to see more, let us know. I have a big, bag of just monster ideas.
Monsters.
Yeah,
I've collected over the years.
That's right, absolutely, and continue to collect. That I'd love to show our dudes here. Maybe we didn't introduce it properly. They're going in blind. They don't know what sort of creature I'm going to slap up on this PowerPoint for them. So, we'll see how that goes in the future. We had a little bit of fun. This is a fresh new podcasty format, and we'll see you. We'll see you next time. Watch out for Nargacugas. Have a fantastic Halloween. Big thanks to Zach for making this lovely thumbnail that I've now put in the video, as well as
that I haven't done yet, but hopefully will do.
Yeah, look at it. It's incredible. I love the.
Do you like the line work? Yeah, the line work is really good.
He used color, maybe, or he didn't. That's crazy.
I don't know. It's hard to tell.
Oh, that's good. Well, we'll see you on the next episode. Stay safe out there.
Woo.
Ryan, you have anything funny you want to scream at the end?
Give a last tip, or a quote. Yeah, a quote is good.
They once considered the Elephant Man a monster, but he's just a man. That's it. That's what I have to say.
I like that one.